This time a video on using the CDJ1000. This is Mark III. Alright, it loads up in a few seconds. I guess you could measure that if you really want. You just saw me put it in. Straightforward stuff. Cue. Yeah, when you let go, it will go back to the start of a song. Right? And if the song is playing and you press Q, it will go back to the start of the song. Okay? If you are holding Q and you press play, it will keep playing. So if you're holding Q and you want to keep playing the song without holding Q forever, you just press play at the same time and you let go of both. So hold Q. See how it stops and goes back to the start every time you let go. Okay, I just realized it stops flashing once you pressed it. If you've got to pay attention to that so you don't make a mistake. Now, there is that. I wouldn't like that starting point because this is perfect. I didn't pick this song, it just happened to have a really crappy start point, I guess. So I want the song to start on the first bass drum. So what I'll do is I'll play the song and I've stopped it just after that kick. Okay, if I press play again, it will keep playing. Okay, there's two modes, vinyl and CD. I'll keep it in vinyl for now. I can hold this and rewind it. So that's where it starts. Okay? When the song is paused, you can find the point at which you want to cue the song to and press Q. You saw that little line jump. This is now the cue point. Okay? Same rule as before. If I press play and press Q, it will go back to this point. Okay. The other thing you can do is you can press play. So I'll start, if I press back, it will just go back to the reset song number 1. Okay? It will start from that part again. I can just stop it with my finger. It's not paused. If I let go, it will play again. Okay, so find it and press Q. Now it's queued again. So that should be ample as far as queuing goes. If you need more, ask. Two modes, vinyl and CD. Vinyl, as you just saw, when I touch this part of the platter, you can scratch it just like vinyl. I'll use the fader as well. I'm not very good at scratching, and you don't need to see the fader, but basically it's like this. Okay? Scratching is more or less the same, except for one vital difference. I could be scratching, and when I let go, it'll go back to the start. See? So you can do different scratches like that. Okay? But if you keep holding it, it's normal. That's when it's paused. If you play it, it will be more or less just like a real vinyl. So I'll press play now. Okay? Now, make sure you don't make the mistake of pausing it and then pressing Q to go back, because you'll set that as the cue point. If you want to go back to the start, it has to be playing when you press Q. Okay. So there's the vinyl mode. If I want to slow the song down a little bit or push it forward just to beat match things, I touch the outside ring here. Okay? That way you can nudge the song forwards or backwards. So forwards this way or backwards this way. Not by pressing the plate, because that will just move the actual song. In CDJ mode, however, that happens, which I hate. Okay. If you pause a song, it's going to be just playing like a little tiny loop. So if you want to find your cue point like that, you play it and pause it, and then see, and press Q. Now it's Q to that point. Actually, I'll go a little bit further back. Okay. You can't do that. That's one thing I hate. And when you're playing a song, you can slow it down or speed it up by pressing either this or that, the platter or the ring on the outside when it's in CDJ. So same as vinyl, but also the same here. Okay, I prefer this. It gives you the option of either doing that or okay. So yeah, my personal preference is vinyl, always. But I mean, that's up to you. If you prefer CDJ, that option is clearly there. Cue points, okay, hot cues. If you have a little memory card inserted here, like I do, in this little, there's a little door here. I'm not going to open it, whatever. But basically, it's like a little flash card you insert there, and then you can save 3 cue points for each song. The memory card will actually save this CD, so every time I insert it, these points will be saved on there automatically already. So I'll set 1, okay? Say I want that point to actually be hot cue 1, so I'll press record. They light up red. Notice before they were black, there's nothing. When you save something, I think it's going to go green. So you find the point, cue that. You go out of record mode, see now that's cued to A. When I press that, it will go back to A. It might start actually playing. Yep. Okay, now you can save 3 different points. So that's the start of the song. Maybe I want to save a different point somewhere else in the song. You can search either this way. I'll explain searching later. Sorry. I'll save it when it kicks in there as another cue point. Okay, see that? This will always return it to the point that you saved it initially, so at the start of the song, for example, which just so happens to be A as well, but that's got nothing to do with each other. This could be somewhere else. Okay, I'll reset it back again. Now, it's cued to that sweeping sound at the start. This will be that boom boom. That's the first kick. This is afterwards, after the breakdown. Okay, so there's, as you just saw, there's ample, I mean, watch that, watch this line. Okay, you could, and I've done this before, if I don't like a particular part of the song, I'll set a cue point. You can set another one as well if you want. Here, I'll just set another example, I'll show you. And I'll show you searching now. You can search like this, you can search like that slowly. You can press this to go faster, or you can do both at the same time to go really quickly. Okay, now I've set 3 cue points, one at the start, one around here, and one there. So okay, I think if you press it, okay, when the song's not playing and when you've not cued that point, if you press it, it'll just go there. Okay, but if I press it again, it will play. Oh, it won't. Damn it. There you go. It has to be playing, and then. Okay. There you go. I don't do it too often, so sorry I had that a bit mixed up. I know how to use it, but I would have picked that up in an instant if I tried to do it in an actual song. So when it's paused, when the song stops, damn it, why? Okay, paused, it will not play. Cued, it will play. Or actually playing. If it's cued or if it's playing, it will play when you press this. If it's just paused, it will not play. Now it's paused. Cued, it should play. Okay. Experiment a little bit with that, but that should give you a really good idea of how to use it. I could go into some other song. I think if I press that, actually, I don't know what will happen. Should go back to track 1. Yep, there you go. But I think if you save another point in a different song, it shouldn't do that, I think. So, whatever, next track. Let's go back to track 1. Ah! Damn. Okay. It seems to only let you set 3 cue points for the CD. In any case, I mean, you can just do this during the song. You can set 3 cue points in a song and do it that way. Huh. Okay. I thought this would work for each song individually. If I'm wrong on that, correct me, but there you go. So you can skip a part of a song easily that way by cueing them there, and when that comes up, you can in beat press the button and it will just skip that one part of the song. That's very useful. Next, auto cue. This is very important. You can see that little square there, that's auto cue. Okay, if you hold this, it says auto cue there. If you hold this button, it will switch it on or off. Now it's off, now it's on. Basically what that does is when it's auto cue and this song finishes, it will just stop and wait at the start of the next song. If you switch auto cue off, it will not cue it up, it will just keep playing. So you might finish one song and you mix in your next song, and then this one will start playing again over the top of the last one if the fade is not down. So make sure auto cue is always on, unless you're just going to leave the CD player to sit there. Okay, always have auto cue on. That's my experience, my preference. Always auto cue on. Again, this just tells you how much time is either been played or how much time is remaining. Text mode, you know, name of the song or the artist, the CD, whatever. I prefer to put the waveform there. Now, these loops are also very useful. You can set a loop and play with that a little bit. So I'll go back to here. There's a breakdown there. At the start of the first kick, I'll loop that first kick and then I'll shorten it down. So I'll show you. Go back a little bit. Okay. The start and the end of the point that you want to move. I've just turned on the fader and remixer. I've set the start and the end of the loop, which is basically that one beat. I can now either change when the loop starts or when the loop finishes. Okay, so I won't mess with the start. I'll just make it shorten down the actual the ending point of the loop. They're both flashing, so you're not altering anything right now. But if you press 1, you can then move this jog wheel around and it will change that timing. this is great. I mean, I like to do this, and then you can add other effects to it from the mixer. You know, you can do that sort of stuff. I'm not going to bother with the effects. Any effect, you can just play with that, right? It's an easy way to set a loop. To release the loop again, you can just press that button there, right? You can press that there. What I personally like to do is, I like to lengthen the loop again and then press it. So, like this. So yeah, usually I'll do that. I do that from time to time. I do it as the breakdown is just finishing and it just kicks in. I loop that first kick and then play with that. I might like, you know, make the loop go all quick like that and then fade it out, maybe yell something out of the microphone, then bring it back in. So that's the loops. Ah yes, this button here adjusts how easily you can spin the wheel. All the way in heavy, it doesn't move very much. So I'll pause it. Watch. Okay, when I turn it all the way to light, it will spin heaps more. That's about the same level of power. Okay, same effort. I mean, you can spin it a lot faster. Right. You can do spin backs and things like that, but also it affects the amount it moves when you try to correct it. Personal preference. Personal preference. I have it just there in the middle where the little light is. There's like a little, actually, I don't even know if it's a light. It's a little thing in there, so that's where I like to have it. Pitch controller, right? When you start the CDJ up, it will be on 10%. There's a little red thing there that says 10%, plus or minus. This button that says tempo, you can change that from 6, 10, 16, and wide, which is 100% if it's a WAV file or a normal CD, or like something like 80 or 60% or whatever if it's an MP3. So I'll set that to 6, right? You can go minus 6% plus 6%. Watch. Right? Master tempo will actually keep the pitch the same whilst changing the speed, so it's not going to go woo, it will just stay in one pitch but the speed will change. Watch when I press it, it will drop. It's handy. If you're actually doing that a lot, changing things, speeding up and slowing it down a lot, you can tell when it's playing. The pitch changes. Now it won't. That's handy. If it's close to 0. I don't actually like to use that. I don't like to use it. I can tell the difference. This is why I don't like to use it. Let's change this to, say, 16%. No, let's change it to 100%. Make it really obvious. All the way up, the song will stop. It will be on 0 speed. All the way up, it will be twice as fast. So let's speed it up first. Okay, now I'll slow it down. See how the sound becomes all choppy when you have that on. Again, that's a good effect as well. I like to use that, so I'll usually use a filter or something on it like this. And bring it out like that. So it's a good effect. You can play with it, make weird sounds and stuff if you're confident enough to do that sort of stuff. Without that, and it will stop. Stop. 0% stopped. If I change this, it won't be so choppy. On. personal preference. I personally like to have that off because most of my tracks are beat matched properly, so I don't actually have to play with it too much when I'm playing the song, so it doesn't affect it too much. Other things, start and stop speed. On the record player, on the vinyl, it's down here, you all know the vinyl's there. When you press play and stop, it kind of it does that, right? It doesn't just bang stop or start. It takes like a little thing to actually, a little bit of time to start and stop. So if this is all the way to the left, it will just stop and start instantly. Like pretty much like that. Let's have that on. I always have it on 6. It gives you the most control, most accurate, 6%. Okay, now when I start and stop, it just instantly starts and stops. Okay. As you move this further to the right, you can do them individually. Say the starting. Okay, I'll turn it halfway. See? But it still stops quickly because this is here. I'll turn this up halfway. That's pretty realistic in terms of how vinyl would behave. You can turn it all the way to the right. I'll turn them both up. I mean, you can do it individually, but whatever. That's more similar to actually switching the power off on a turntable, although I find it doesn't actually go for as long, but you can help it a little bit by actually spinning it. So watch this. Start quickly. Oh, damn it. Nope. I just learned, because I never use CDJ, you can't actually use these on CDJ mode. There you go, one less reason to use it. Wasn't I able to spin that before? No, my bad, that was on the vinyls. I can actually spin the turntable for longer when it's dragging out. Here you don't seem to be able to. What you can do is keep pressing it a little bit to lengthen it. Like as it's slowing down, you can press it again to lengthen it a little bit, if they're both on slow. Whatever. Any other options? That's if you have an MP3 CD with folders and things, you can search for them. Don't ever use MP3 CDs. I hate the idea. Q loop. I'm not too sure actually how these work. Yeah, I'm sorry. Card memory. Okay. How is it? Not too sure about that really. If anyone wants to post a response video to this, explain these 4 buttons, please go ahead. Okay. Obviously that will delete the key point. Will it? Yeah, whatever. If anyone can explain this memory thing here, go right ahead. Unlock lock. Okay. That can be very important if you're a clumsy person. Sometimes I am, so I like to have it on lock. What that does is basically, I can eject the CD by pressing this now that the song is paused. CD out, put it back in. It's locked, right? So if the song is playing and I press this, nothing will happen. You can't accidentally eject the CD. If you turn around somewhere to find another CD and you come back and you accidentally try to eject the wrong CD, it won't let you if it's locked, if the CD is playing. So if it's playing to the speakers, you can't accidentally eject the CD, which would be shocking. When you put it on unlock, you can do that. It's playing and I'll eject it. Oh shit, I am a dumb cunt. I just stopped all the music, right? That sort of stuff happens to everyone. Usually pressing the Q button, because you're thinking it's the other CD player, and you press the Q to cue it, and you just stopped it, right? So forwards, backwards. I like to use this a little bit sometimes. It's fun. You can play a whole big thing backwards, like it's cool. Okay, that should be it pretty much. Any other questions, ask. And I would actually like it if someone could post a video response on these 4 buttons here. There's also, I'll go to the back. I'll take the camera off. Around the back here, you have this control cable goes into your mixer if you have a Pioneer mixer. The 800 works fine. So that's plugged in into the 800 mixer. I'll show you what that does, right? If you've queued up a song, right? So let's cue that up. Damn it. Go back to start. Right, queued. I will turn the fader for that CD player down, right? There is a button here that says fader start. That is number, is it 4? Yes, 4 of course. I'll turn that button on. That means that now, when I push this fader up, this CD player will actually start. Surely, right, it will start. Right, what about if we put that through? Yep. Okay, that's important. When that is on through, which means that this does nothing, then this starts the song. Okay, when I put this to either side, if I put it to B, it just means that being on B will start the song. What the f... okay, my bad. Obviously that has to be up if this is going to make any difference. Okay, or the other way A, it will start when I play it this way. Okay, pretty sure, well, you can change the volume, how the volume comes up. Okay, again, that's another feature I never use. I just use the cue buttons and things, but that's there. That's plugged in. The other option is there's a cable that you can connect in between them, right? And then when a song on here finishes, automatically the next song on here starts. When that song finishes, automatically the next song on here starts. It looks, I think, like a telephone cable, and if I'm not mistaken, it is this here. That should be it, unless I'm very much mistaken. And it's not really a telephone cable. But that should, I think that's the one. I don't see anything else on there. Yeah, there's also the option of digital audio out rather than having these things. Can anyone explain any benefits to that? What are the benefits? I mean, I might as well plug it in if it makes any difference. Yeah. Okay, I hope you've all gotten a pretty good grasp from that into how the CDJ1000MK3 works. I'd like help with these buttons here myself personally. I never use them, so I don't know exactly what it does. And that hole at the back, I'm pretty sure that's the cable that connects them both together. And if so, does anyone actually use that, or can they make a video of how that's done? I'd just like to see that, I guess. Thanks for watching.